You know, freeing slaves is one thing, but you've been freeing people of their mind, which matters, it should be anyhow, to you more than anything else, because with the mind not being right, there ain't nothing else going to happen right anyway.
If you can doubt every thought because you're not your thoughts, if you can doubt every thought, knowing that you're not your thoughts, you don't create them, they're not from God, that they're from the deceiver, the great deceiver, Satan. If you can doubt every thought, you can be free, just like that. At an instant. Bring every thought into captivity. It's so amazing. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home. That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border. And then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. They don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thank you for tuning in, folks. Appreciate it. See you rolling in the chat there on this fine and absolutely amazing Wednesday. How you doing? Appreciate it. Coming into the chat here with the American Anchor Baby. Couple things on my mind. Not even news. I just gave up. Maybe we'll get to news. But we'll get into some stuff here. The Anchor Baby, as he gets his show going. But I appreciate you tuning in. I see you in the chat, everybody. You're giving me the ones in the chat. You know, give it a sec. Maybe it's just YouTube or something. But hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully I'm still coming to you live. No such thing as racism. Lois, I must go save the people. Okay, I had to do it like a superhero, but no such thing as racism. Rebuildingtheman.com/stores. Get yours. But how you doing, everybody? 888-775-3773. If you want to call in, speak to the Anchor Baby, get it off your chest and all that. What's up? Rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. What's up? DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. Welcome. So, hoping everything's fine here. I don't know why your video is... Yeah, it's only my show. So it's not just a conspiracy, right, Mr. Pink? I go live. Feds watching. You haven't learned yet? Feds watching the stream, putting blocks on the stream. Only when the Anchor Baby goes live, it's choppy stream. Haven't you learned yet that this is a love stream? Haven't you seen... What are you watching me for? Huh? Because I said something off color about this or that person or whatever? What's even off color? I don't even know what that means. Anyways, I'm yelling at the feds who may or may not exist in the chat. Shout out to the feds in the chat. Put a is there a glow stick emoji? put a little pineapple in the chat if you're a Fed. Just say hello. We're saying hello to the Feds. How you doing? Little pineapple in the Fed if you're in the chat. Okay. Glow stick rave. Don't give it away. We're not gonna call them that. We love the Feds. Okay, in the chat. We're not gonna call you derogatory things like you're irradiated or something like that. You know, glowing and all that. Oh wow, I had more Feds in the chat than I thought. Huh. Well, thanks for letting yourselves be known. That wasn't a honeypot or anything. It really wasn't. I'm just speaking with my friends here in the chat. Google honeypot. You might be wide-eyed once you do. Okay, anyways. I'm messing around here, having fun on my show here on this fine Wednesday. And CNN says, here's what you got to know. Here's what's going on. Immigration. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. And you know what's up. Starliner mission. You know, Biden being more based than the Republicans here, and not by a lot. It's a shame nobody cares. Starliner. Boeing is launching another attempt at this Starliner. They're putting astronauts out there. Don't scoff at that. That's not a joke. They're going to be going to space. And I hear SpaceX wants to do something similar tomorrow with their Starship, is it? So they're launching the rockets. Hunter Biden, like, who cares, right? CNN here. That's the news a little bit. Atlanta water woes. Atlanta officials anticipate the city's water service will return to normal today after a series of burst water mains left large portions of the city without safe drinking water. Yeah, I heard about this on Hake News. See, that's a little bit interesting. Decaying infrastructure. You should have seen my eyes when I found out who was really behind Flint. See, I thought it was racism. You should have seen my eyes. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so who cares about the news like that? Unless something else happens. You know, I was speaking about nothing but fun stuff, you know. Cute little segment on the JLP show. Can you do anything? If you saw the Jesse Lee Peterson show this morning, if you could do anything, just like a non-political, just being cute about thoughts and what getting the people thinking, maybe even a little bit about the biblical question. What are you trying to win? And I had shown this clip on the JLP show. I showed it to you. If you remember Richard Feynman, he's this like physicist guy saying you could do anything. I'm just an ordinary guy, okay? I'm just an ordinary guy like you, and you just got to read the same books. And if there's any hint of sarcasm there, that's on you, okay? I didn't mean to put it out there. Maybe that's on me. But Richard Feynman, in fact, why don't I just play it? Like, I played it on the JLP show, just so you know what I'm talking about a little bit.
You asked me if an ordinary person, by studying hard, would get to be able to imagine these things like I imagine. Of course, I was an ordinary person who studied hard. There's no miracle people. It just happens they got interested in this thing, and they learned all this stuff. They're just people. There's no talent, a special miracle ability to understand quantum mechanics or a miracle ability to imagine electromagnetic fields that comes without practice and reading and learning and study. So if you say you take an ordinary person who's willing to devote a great deal of time and study and work and thinking and mathematics and time, then he's become a scientist.
That is a scientist, no? I mean, anybody could be a scientist nowadays, right? You just devote something, I don't know. Anybody can be a scientist. I believe it, Richard Feynman. And that's not even me being glib. There's obviously varying levels of, shall we call it, success, honesty, whatever, in the people pursuing those things. It's a wide field. You know, they have gender studies today. So, yeah, I understand that. And I've always kind of felt a similar way in a lot of things, that there may be talents and all that, but that people are the same, essentially. I don't know. I've always felt this, like, I never a fleshed out thought here, and I don't have it here for you, but I've had this impression, this inkling that people are like that. You know, anybody can learn anything. You know? You can, but Nick, you can't just be, anybody can be an NBA. Can anybody be an NBA? Huh? Says the apparition. I hear it now. So you're telling me anybody can just, how come there are differences in people? It's an interesting topic. And, you know, it made me want to present to you something I had hidden away, locked away, wondering when I might mention it, if I ever would. This Chinese man, �𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍�. What a fast man. And we're talking about the Olympics here, the 100-meter dash. 𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍�, representing the People's Republic of China, and an amazing record-breaking that happened in 2021. You see, they were supposed to have the 2020 Olympics. COVID and all that pushed it. Tokyo Olympics, okay? 𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍�, the fastest man on the planet, at least for 60 meters, for the first 60 meters. It's an amazing accomplishment, okay? And to understand this, you got to understand the differences in people in these competitions, the differences in the different nations, the races, racial differences. Okay, you got some tall people, you got some short people, you got people that can run fast and other things, okay? It's demonstrated in the difference of the records of the different nations, okay? And let me show you a little bit here, though, what I'm talking about. We're talking about the 100-meter dash in the Olympics. And in the semifinals of this competition, 𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍� finished first. He didn't finish first in the final, but he was alongside Ronnie Baker, Akani Simbine. You got to see some of these people. Okay, you need to see what we're talking about here a little bit. You need to see 𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍� flanked by tall black people and others, okay? 𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. You got to see it. Boom. 𝒏𝒂𝒂𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔, who competed against that in that race against people like Ronnie Baker. Pulling up my notes here. Akani Simbine, and who would be the eventual winner of this 100-meter dash in the final, Lamont Marcel Jacobs. Yeah, Lamont Marcel Jacobs, an Italian man. You know, I'm like, wait, Italian? Lamont Marcel Jacobs, I'm a little suspect here. We're going to need an early life check here on Marcel Jacobs, the Italian man. For no reason at all. Jacob is the son of an Italian woman, and Lamont Marcel Jacobs Sr., an African-American serviceman. Okay, African-American. Very funny, Wikipedia. We know what you mean. Just like a regular American. One of the original Americans, even. Okay, I don't know why you got to call him that. His parents met when his father was a United States Army soldier. Okay, so you got the Army soldier going around meeting the foreign women. His parents married and relocated to Fort Bliss in El Paso. Three years later, Jacobs was born. So he was born in America. We got an anchor baby, folks. See, you can get all sorts of flavors of anchor baby and mess. But I'm not going to say this man's life is a mess. We're messing around Lamont Marcel Jacobs, look, he ran against people who the world thought, it's just unusual. You see, for decades, there was, the same numbers were coming up out of the Asian nations, okay? Out of Asia. The records kind of stopped at 9.9 seconds, 9.91 seconds. And the theoretical, shall we call it the theoretical Asian limit, the T.A.L. The T.A.L. at the time. The T.A.L. at the time, according to experts, well, maybe not so much experts, but maybe just people talking like me at the time, was 9.8 something seconds is the T.A.L., the theoretical Asian limit. What their bodies and stature, when put across the averages and over time, what they can achieve. And at the time, the fastest time ever, you know this one, Usain Bolt, 9.58. You know that one. You know that record. It's still an unbeaten, still the fastest time of all time. He did it back in 2009. You know this a little bit. But what's amazing about this one is to go even further beyond. Well, let me show you some of these Asian records first. Just so you understand that it's not racist, okay? This is how the people were people were openly discussing the T.A.L. question, okay? It wasn't controversial. the theoretical Asian limit, okay? 𒒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔 actually was a previous record holder as well, 9.9. So let's get to the record breaking here. Why it's amazing. He does 9.83 in this 100-meter dash in the semifinal. See, it's entirely possible to do it's in fact the fastest time in the whole tournament here. The winner, the Italian Marcel Jacobs. I'm sorry, it's not the fastest time, but it was the fastest time in that race. Obviously, the semifinal. He won it. He runs a 9.96 in the final. Even if he had run a 9.83 in the final, he wouldn't have beat Marcel, but that's how it goes down, okay? You could totally run a faster time previously. Okay, you got to see it. Let me just show it to you. You got to see it. You got to see him going Super Saiyan, going further beyond, going beyond all racial limits, all DNA, all cultural limits, going beyond DNA itself. 𒒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒄𝒊𝒂𝒍𝒔. Let's maybe pause and lower the volume. And this is to go even further beyond. Okay. He's in red. Look at that. Explosion. The little guy. I mean, he's smaller than everybody else, right? Everybody knows that it's the Africans, Jamaica, they all kind of take the Kenyans, they take these records home all day. Technique. We got technique. We have another angle, I think. Incredible. You got to see it.
Chance to make the final.
And this is to go even further beyond. Let me move this. Watch this.
Su got away well, as you would expect, and he's absolutely flying, the youngster from China. Now Baker beginning to close him down. Su, I think. And then very, very...
You see in this angle, you see a little bit more of what the success in his technique. It's the acceleration, obviously. The incredible acceleration, the incredible genetic braking acceleration. You know, I'm messing around. Messing around with this story a little bit, but what was I saying? This guy does in what's called he breaks the world record on what they call a split. Okay, so how fast do you run a certain portion? Okay, so out of the 100 meters, his split in the first 60 meters, he ran it in 6.29 seconds. That is the fastest 60-meter split of all time. So anybody under 60 meters, this guy is going to be accelerating past you, no problem. Faster than Usain Bolt, faster than Kristen Coleman, the guy who won that year. The current record holder of the 60-meter dash. The current record holder of the 60-meter dash.
Now,
Christian Coleman. In fact, I think I even have some footage. Why not? Since we're having fun with this. Doing the 60-meter, you know, there's a race. It's where they just do 60. Kristen Coleman doing it in 6.34. Usain Bolt here. This is him doing the 100-meter in, I forget. But doing it in the 60-meter split for that Usain Bolt there is 6.31. Even faster than Usain. 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. Incredible work. I want to see the 100-meter under 5. Okay, well, I'm saying, I've said this before, I want a steroid league. Steroid leagues. I want a cybernetics league when that comes out. I want to see the 100-meter under 5 seconds. Let's go. So yeah. Anyways, messing around. The story of 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. Can you really do anything? You know, they say you can't even play in the NBA. Well, talk to 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. I'm obviously messing around. If you can even see there, the success is the acceleration, but he's not quite as fast as everybody else's top speed, like people like Usain Bolt. So as the race gets longer, you'll see the downfalls of his technique. But it's incredible. It's incredible. I'm sure it's brought a lot of pride to the People's Republic of China. Be like Sue. Believe it. You gotta believe it. You gotta, like Trump said in this recent interview, they asked him if he believes in God. He's like, I don't know if I'm really explaining it well, but you gotta believe in heaven. You gotta believe in heaven. You gotta believe in good. These people pushing people into the subway trains, they're empty. There's nothing there. You gotta believe in. You gotta. Hopefully you enjoyed the story of 𝒏𝒊𝒄𝒌𝒔𝒕𝒓𝒆𝒂𝒎. Remember that you can go further beyond. 888-775-3773. What else about Sue? Olympics. Imagine believing racism exists, and then going and watching the Olympics. What are we gonna pretend? What are we just gonna pretend? This is racial supremacy via sports, like physical supremacy on display, and it's fun. It's totally fun, and it doesn't have to be weird. It doesn't have to be weird. Okay. You know, because it's funny. You know, when you're looking at records, they split it all up. When what's his name, Marcelo won that record. The news was like, Marcelo winning in 20. I was watching some news about it from back then. And the way they describe it, they say, bringing in a new European record, a new so it's like the fastest man in Europe. It's like, whoa, why does that matter, huh? Usain Bolt's the fastest man as far as I'm concerned. I don't see color. What a mess. So anyways, 888-775-3773. You know what? Let's see here. Because I think I got a coffee. Thank you for the support here. You know, you can buy me a coffee. buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. I'll read it out loud. You can support the Anchor Baby. And I think I have super chats as well. Yes, Gunner. Thank you for that. Is that from today? I think it is. Yes, Gunner says, I'd be fresh as hell if the Fed's watching. Thank you, Yes, Gunner. Modern Gentleman with another one says, what he said was, it says this is from today, but I feel like I read this yesterday. Because Modern Gentleman is responding to, I think, a caller about Jesse and about reading the Bible. What he said was read it and put it down. YouTube's telling me you sent this today. Why is my mishtuka? Why is my deja vu telling me otherwise? Anyways, those were nice calls, I think, or one call on that a little bit. On the Bible, reading it, when should you put it down? As a Christian. So let me ask you something. Let me get something straight, Nick. As a Christian, when is it a good time ever to put down the Bible? And you're remembering some of the topics here. You know what? If you want to hear a great call on that, listen to the third hour of the Jesse Lee Peterson show today. Hake was filling in for the JLP, and that was a great, kind of similar topic. A lady was speaking about. I'm forgetting, so I'm paraphrasing about being good. Maybe I think a little bit about being good and being at peace, truly having peace. And, it kind of touches on a little bit in a perfect way. If you want to check out that call, go check out the Jesse Lee Peterson show today on the Spirit versus the Word. The Spirit versus the Word. You know what? I'm here looking for a segue. And it just fell in my lap on how to get into chivalry a little bit. It came up on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. Chivalry. It also came up on the Joel Friday TV podcast. Check out that show. Great episodes. And we got into a bit of a discussion. You see, Pearl, I've talked about her before. Pearl, from Just Pearly Things, who's speaking about marriage and women and all that, was on a podcast, Rattlesnake TV, talking about the order a little bit. Chivalry came up. Couple thoughts on that, on chivalry. On chivalry. Chivalrous. What a word. It's like knight stuff, no? Knighthood and I don't know, noble things, right? Chivalry. Rich and complex etymology. Old French roots. The French term chevalerie, which referred to the skills, values, and practices associated with being a knight or cavalryman. Okay. Knightly virtues, okay? A code of conduct for medieval knights. And, James even showed this image. It looked like an old-timey drawing or mosaic of a depiction of so-called chivalry. It's a man kneeling to some woman, raising some concerns for some. Courtly love. Chivalry became associated with the notion of courtly love, a romantic ideal that emphasized devotion, admiration, and respectful behavior between knights and noblewomen. Oh, not just the women, knights. Don't be gay. That's gay. Right? Oh, chivalry. I heard about this word growing up. I heard about the word gentleman. Be a gentleman. I heard opening doors. I heard that maybe in like popular culture and shows or movies. Maybe I even heard it in school or something. I can't quite remember family teaching me to specifically opening the door for the lady, but I heard that. Opening doors is chivalrous. I heard that phrase. I was taught that in a sense, maybe by the world. You should be chivalrous, Just that conclusion that you should be gentlemanly, chivalrous. It's what the notion was even there, maybe in between the lines, that this is how you treat a woman. That was overt, but was maybe a little more in between the lines, that this is how you treat someone you like, that, and how you get them to like you, and how you do stuff like that. So that was there, maybe ingrained in the DNA culturally a little bit. Chivalry, right? And there's other examples that people gave. People gave like being nice and doing certain things, opening the door for your car for her, something that I've only seen in old-timey looking movies. So I didn't quite do that, and I know I get not crap for it, but that's not the word. You know, there's a funny story about that, okay? I get it. Not opening the door for milady. Hello, milady. And it's in my car, and I got a cop car, and it's like these big old heavy doors, and I'm watching her struggle, and I don't even care. But it's not that I don't care. I don't know. I just didn't. Don't open the doors. It's not even a thing I just don't do. It's just not something in my habits, in my way of thinking. So you might think I'm not chivalrous or something. But here, thinking about this a little bit, I remember I said, look, imagine thinking for a second. Here's where I'm coming at it from. People who are wondering how to be chivalrous, who hear about this and hear that this is what you should do, this is how you treat women. I've told you before, I've been to conferences where there's young men wondering the very same things, maybe not in those exact words. But imagine thinking for a second that you need a word and a set of ideas attached to that word to what? To be a man. To be a man in the world, right? To be a free man. Free, a fountain of love and energy. To be free. And not feel judged and not feel self-conscious when you're kind, when you're doing whatever in the world. Imagine thinking you need a word for that. Oh, you got to be chivalrous to have a woman. Oh. You know, the whole part of chivalry, about being virtuous towards women, like that clip we played on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. And if you don't remember real quick, Jake the Rattlesnake TV, whatever, was talking to Pearl, and he's like, well, chivalry, I mean, the whole thing is to be virtuous towards women. We have to be virtuous towards women and protect them. Don't you think we should protect them, Pearl, he asked. She's like, yeah, but we don't have to protect all women. But this whole thing on protection, I've talked about it before, on this topic of the bear. You know, the women are saying, I'd rather see a bear in the woods than a man, because at least a bear will only kill me. These men want to do horrible things to women. So at least with a bear, it's 50-50. It might leave me alone. And the topic of, society that protects women, how do you build that? Do we have one? When you think about it, like the protection is ingrained in like the society and the people. It's not it's just like a symptom, a secondary effect of a man who's already, of good people, of decent people. You don't have to tell decent people to protect women. You don't have to tell decent people to do decent things. You don't have to tell them that. And so once you start having to say it and tell them, now people can control that. Now people can mess with that because you don't really know it. You don't really know it and live it. You can't control someone who's really knowing it and living life. Okay, and really being chivalrous or whatever. You see, the words lose all meaning in this upside down world. So imagine thinking you need a word and a set of ideas for that. Now you could be controlled, and what is virtue? Is it just something you say in posture, or is it something that's real? The whole part of chivalry being towards women to protect them. Okay, it's not about women. You understand the virtue. You're supposed to be virtuous despite any external factors, right? Isn't that a fair conclusion? Isn't that something we can agree on? This shallow thinking of, well, this is what a man, this shallow thinking where it's like, if you string together the words, a man should be chivalrous, a man should lead, a man is the head of his wife. If you just string these words emptily, that's not even a word. Imagine stringing those kinds of words together. If you just string together these right-sounding words together, it means nothing. Then this shallow thinking on these empty words leads men, these alphas, you're looking at the red pill alphas, the Christian, the podcasters, all, I don't even want to gossip, but some of you might know, marrying and getting into all sorts of mess, just like the world, just like the shallow simps that they'll talk about. Virtue, chivalry. It bears repeating this point as well. For any talk of returning men to any chivalry or chivalrous state of the past, there must be a talk of returning women to a similar state. But I'm thinking, I'm moving on, okay? All this go back. We need to go back. There's no going back. We just need to learn, okay? Because then you start acting like weird. You start acting like a knight today. It's just like, okay, look at the weirdo. I'm not trying to there's something I want to say about being yourself, but we'll hold for Friday on that. But that's not being yourself. That's like, I'm just heard that this is what chivalrous men do, and so I'm going to bring roses to my lady. And ladies are looking at you like an idiot. So we can't look back. We need to look forward, in a sense. Okay, dating evolves. You follow me sort of? Okay, let me reel it back here. We're talking about chivalry. I want to say, Pearl said, oh, maybe it was never a good thing. Schopenhauer, whatever that guy's name is, he wrote his essay on women 170 years ago. Okay, so for if you have read that, or if you're going to go out and read it after I say this, I'm not agreeing with everything that man said in that essay. I'm just saying that he brought up similar issues that we talk about today 170 years ago. And if this is the more chivalrous time, we got some serious self-reflection to consider and serious Adam and Eve realities to consider that go back to the beginning of time. Okay. About opening the door. Jesse said we used to open the doors for women for the wrong reasons. It wasn't about chivalry and protecting them. He didn't elaborate, and I didn't understand at all what he was saying, because he didn't elaborate, but maybe I can surmise what he was saying. And you think about the cheesy coming-of-age movies. Anybody ever seen Pleasantville? I don't know if this is a coming-of-age movie, but this is the imagery I'm thinking of. Who's seen Pleasantville? You remember Pleasantville? This Tobey Maguire. Who's the girl? I forget her name, but Tobey Maguire. His character loves this like old-timey show of America, and the setting of this TV show is like in the 1950s or something like that, where it was just a nice happy family and the nuclear family and dad at home and mom at home dad at work, mom at home, and it was just a good old Christian white picket fences, all that. And Tobey Maguire and his sister get sucked into this world, and they're living out this reality-bending real life where they're living out the days of Pleasantville, of the show this kid likes. And I'm about to say the whole movie. Just watch it. It's great. They bring color into the world. Think of, and then basically not to give out any, if you really want to go watch it, not to do the whole synopsis, but that all was not well in Pleasantville. And when that nice young boy who came to pick up your daughter in this car and opened the door for her, he maybe had other thoughts and intentions. Okay. When you do these nice things, I guess, calling it chivalrous, calling it good, is just calling it this word that you were trained. This is the world I came up in. I was trained with this word. What the heck do I know? I wasn't around with the knights. So it's a combination of things. We call it dating. It's navigating egos. Okay, it's no big deal. So when I said that I'm not chivalrous in whatever way the guys were talking about this morning, I mean it like, when I think about like being chivalrous, I think about like serving, like being available. Okay, I got hands. That's a kitchen term, meaning you're there to help, and just being chivalrous in that way. Being understanding is another part of it, but being of service, being helpful, that's to all people. That's to everybody. That's to everybody. And you know what? And you know what that means with a woman is it means like a general attitude. And it's this general attitude that you should have with your common man. You're chivalrous first to men. See, it's not gay. You're chivalrous first to men. Or am I wrong? I'm probably butchering this word here in 2024, taking this word from hundreds of years, speaking about men here, but it rings true. It rings true. Where am I wrong? 888-775-3773. You're chivalrous to men first, to yourself, to men, and then and then it goes down. It goes outwards. You feel me? Chivalry. What else about this? Pause. Hey, yo. Yeah. What do y'all think? Joel Friday TV in my chat says, I ain't opening your car door. But Joel, what you don't understand is you've done that and so much more for me, sir. You chivalrous knight of a brother. You've done that and so much more. You've opened car doors for me. You've given me your jacket. You've given me your jacket on a cold day. You've yeah. All right, folks. 888-775-3773. I got something for you that you might find interesting. And we're going to Reddit for this one. We're going to Reddit for this. You guys get me a little bit. I'm just rambling a bit on chivalry and all that. But it's like an outward expression of how you kind of feel about yourself. You're just, and it's not about ego, not always about ego. But, you know, when you just, the love's just coming out. You're not bogged down by any self-thoughts about yourself and all this crap. And you're just good attitude. You'll help the lady across the street. You'll be nice to you'll be real with you'll treat women the same way you would treat a man. And it'll be nice. Okay, yeah, let's keep it moving here. I got something else for you. You might find this interesting. And I see calls coming in. 888-775-3773. Let's see here. I want to talk about I don't know how graphic I can't be. We're going to do our best here to talk about a little thing called that, you know, some people, they like Adidas. You know, they like Adidas. And all day, they're like, all day I dream about, you know, Adidas. All day I dream about Adidas. We're going to be talking a little bit about it and marriage. I think you're going to find this fascinating. We're going to go to Reddit for it. Don't go anywhere, but let's get to Leo first. Let's get to Leo out of Texas. How you doing, How you doing, Leo? Thank you for your call.
Nick, am I coming in clear?
It's a little muffled. It sounds like you're on speaker.
I'm coming out of Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's better.
Okay. Yeah, Nick, I wanted to talk to you about why the women are single today. I didn't get a chance to share this with Joel, so I figured I'll call in and share it. I don't know if Terry's in the chat, but this is my take. I've been saying this a while. They have a new metric system. Can you hear me?
I'm following you.
Yeah, so the metric system for women in the good old days, it used to be a man's character, which is a great metric system for longevity, right? But now, today, the metric system is so here's the top 5. The top 5 is height, money, which falls in line with the quality of life, right? So they wanted a particular quality of life. Looks. So the guy has to be very attractive or somewhat attractive. Which, should I say, fair? This one's a pretty weird one. Game. Women like men with game, which is why they get played so much, because they like what they hear from the man, right? Instead of what he can do. So they get more caught up in what he says. Oh, he let me have my own mind. He don't say, I gotta obey, right?
But where are you getting that from?
Where am I getting that from? Oh, you can see it. It's something that you can observe it.
So I'm following so far. You're saying women today, they have a different metric on how they judge a potential mate, a man, a husband, etc., And you're saying you're giving me these top 5. Where are you getting these top 5 from?
These are mine.
Oh, okay. Those are yours. You're saying height. Okay. So in your estimation, these are the most important things to women.
Height, looks, game, ability to please, which is like their happiness and, their ability to, what you can give to them.
Ability to please and money, you said earlier, right? Height, looks, game, ability to please, and money. Okay. Yes. And what's wrong with that?
So
sorry. I'll let you speak. Did you even say that was wrong?
Huh? No. I didn't say you're wrong. The problem with these things are it's the character has depreciated so much. There's no value in it. So a man loving what's right, there's no value in that anymore. Because if a man that's loving what's right, and he is right, or he's on the journey, if he's boring, he out. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Okay, I'm following you sort of. I want to ask you something about it, but first, I want you to. I guess I want to understand more of your top 5 here. When you're saying game, that girls appreciate game more than it. That's one of their top 5 things.
Yep.
These top 5. What are you saying that these are top 5 women when they're looking for a potential, like, husband, or when they're looking for someone to sleep with? Because when you say game, it starts making me think. So what? For like a multi-year relationship, women are looking for a man that can, I don't know, speak cool and say pickup lines. So I'm trying to understand the metric here. Is this a top 5 for women? These are the top 5 things that women look for in, like, what, in a husband, or just attraction, or what's the level here?
Just what they look for in a mate.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is why they're doing so poorly in the market. And men, we got our reasons, but this is their reasons. And I've noticed this one sticks out really. It's very obvious. What they're looking for, and they will tell you, not all women, but most will tell you they don't want a boring guy. They don't want him to be boring at all.
Do you think a woman? Let me ask you. So, okay, I'll ask you that after. But on this heights, looks, game, ability to please, and money, you're saying this is your top 5. Okay, I'll ask you this. Do you think a woman...
Got another one in there, but I ain't going to say it, though.
Let's say a woman finds a decent man or whatever. You think she will still care about height?
Yes.
Is this just like an initial thing? You see what I'm asking? Is this just like their initial impression about men, or what?
So it's very... So it's
because here's why I'm asking. Let me make it clear. Here's why I'm asking. If I'm asking how you're seeing it, because if this is an initial impression, if this is just like what women, the first thing they look for, I don't know why scrutinize or even judge that further than anything shallow, because it just is shallow and it's nothing wrong. It's the first thing you see, the first thing you feel, all those things. That's just what happens when you meet someone, right? And it's at its nature, and it's essential. It's at its very core shallow, because it's your first meeting of someone. To think that all people, to be obtuse and think that all people would just shy away from a decent or acceptable mate because they don't fit these things here. I think most people don't operate like that. Have you ever heard of settling? They call it settling. They do that a lot.
Yes.
So, yeah.
They do.
Or, let's not be mean. It might not be settling, but or just, you understand what I'm saying here? People are still getting married. Like, so that's why I'm asking. Like, is this just an initial...
They settle, though. I just want to add that they're settling, but they're settling at a later age. In their prime years, they're not settling. So in their prime years, this is essentially like what they're going after. They're going after these physical things, and character is something that is not high on the valued list. Now, they may say it. They may say, hey, we want, of course, I would want that, handsome guy with money that can make a lot of money and spend time with me, which is crazy. But we notice that it's not very high on the list because they want fun as well. And sometimes, majority of the time with men that love what's right, they are, they're trying to build a relationship with God. They're trying to know themselves. And all the time, that doesn't look fun. It looks like, he's doing the silent prayer when he wakes up, and, he's not trying to go to clubs because he ain't trying to be tempted, right?
Mm.
So
this is what you say is the reason for the women, taking longer to get married and all that, because they are focused on these values and not the character.
Yeah, they're choosing that hell. It's just a version of hell. I got my own version of hell, but they're choosing that hell. And what's interesting is I just came off a clip on Instagram with a woman that was flexing that she has no kids at 27 or 28 years old. And I found that to be very interesting because because I don't think it's a flex, because I'm sure that woman is not keeping herself. I think somewhat they're projecting.
I understand, Leo. Thank you, Leo. Yeah, we'll move on a little faster here. Appreciate that just for time's sake. But here, I'll say this. I think I can crystallize what I'm trying to say. But I'm not even I'm just crystallizing what I'm saying. Actually, not disagreeing with you. So far, it makes sense. I think, essentially you're saying people are caring about shallow things in their people that they want to marry and all that. And now they're wondering why things aren't going well. The fact that women are delaying marriage and all that might lend to this notion that they are less responsible and less into building and responsibility than generations previous. I can understand that. Just I guess to crystallize what I was saying, just because a woman is into height, just because they want that by itself is not a sign of a shallow person, right? It's like you like a tall person. Don't get butthurt or something if they say you're not tall. Anyways, we're done, Leo. I'm rambling. We need to move on. I gotta get to something else. This is getting bad. Let's keep it moving. Let's move on faster here. Call me again, 888-775-3773, because I got something interesting for you. Let's do this. They're saying this is a failed wife. Failed wife. They're saying this woman failed. A total failure. A total failure in her marriage. And we're going to Reddit for this one. We're going to r/true off my chest. And this is a subreddit on Reddit where users go there to get it off their chest, but it's only true ones. Okay, this is r/true off my chest. So only true stories on this one. Okay, not the fake off my chest or anywhere else on the internet where people could lie. We'll keep a little space here. Still found it interesting though, and it's a story here written by username. It's some guy named Tyler B. whatever on Reddit. Titled, "Today I gave up on sex with my wife." He gave up. It's over. So let's pull it up. Going to Reddit for this one. We're being Reddit bros for this one. And the user who posted this on X says she failed as a wife. Let's find out the story here. Let's read it out. Here's what's going on. The narrator here is a 27-year-old male. His wife is a 25-year-old female. And he says, "Today I gave up on sex with my wife. This is my version of a story told many times before. I, 27 male, am going to stop initiating sex with my wife, 25 female, because she never initiates. When we do have sex, it's only because I asked, and there is nothing sexy about it." Oh, I just remembered something. I need to write this down. "There is nothing sexy about it," he says. "All of my sweet talk, subtle gestures, etc. get me nowhere. I absolutely understand that sex is not the be-all, end-all. We are extremely compatible, he says, and she is my best friend. I have heard the phrase, my partner feels more like a roommate, and that has helped me understand what I am feeling. She has expressed before that sex doesn't hold the same value in a relationship that I believe it does, which hurt to hear, but I have to respect her opinion. Before you comment, talk to her. I can assure you I have. We have had this discussion about every 6 months where I admit that I am sexually frustrated and want to talk about this in a completely neutral environment. Normally, the conversation leads to her crying and I apologize. Or she says she will be more open to initiating, which never happens. I'm ashamed to bring this to Reddit, but I need a third-party opinion. I love her so much and I'm hurting. How come the married people aren't having sex? Y'all are married. What's going on? Come on, baby. You can't walk out of a drive-in movie. Okay. Let's break this down a little bit. You're reeling in the chat. You're reeling in the chat a little. Wow, the caller's growing up fast. Most people don't learn this until their 30s. Let's go. We're going into this. Okay, let me pull it up. So this is absolutely true off my chest. But we can at least be sure there are similar situations. It's not an uncommon thing. We've heard the calls on the Jesse Lee Peterson show. We've seen some of this, okay? And some people are living it, okay? Some people are living this. And they're a little hurt, maybe. They're a little hurt. So I want to see if I can maybe break this down a little bit, what I was thinking when I read it, and then I'll speak freely here a little bit. We'll see how freely I can. We'll see how freely I can. Maybe we'll have to do an exclusive. I got things to say. I got thoughts on this. We'll see how this goes, and then maybe you'll tell me if you want to hear more, because we're gonna have some exclusive abilities soon. Stay tuned for that, on how to go, abilities to go exclusive on a network of our own, a platform of, we'll just, look, stay tuned, look, email me at radio@jesseleepeterson.com if you want to be involved in the process there. But that's besides the point here. We're talking about this letter. Let's break it down. He says he gave up on initiating, right? He says he gave up on initiating. This is my version of a story told many times before. I'm going to stop initiating sex with my wife because she never initiates it. And, on just that, you got to say, I bet you many already think this. You're going to stop initiating. So you gave up. Okay, so you're giving up the position, your role in this attraction gambit, in this magnetic attraction world that's going on here. We're talking about sex, right? We're talking about sex, emotion. This is the world where we're wrestling in a little bit. And he's giving up his position here, thinking it's the big mistake into thinking that sex is a mechanical. It's a lot's going on inside. Okay. Look, let me continue here. Never initiate. So you're giving up. You couldn't hack it. The lioness won. You know what I mean? You're not up to whatever. I'm not saying this is going to get you sex. This is not the point here. But imagine thinking that you're going to get sex from the lioness defeating you. Okay? Whatever you may think about your specific relationship, what's going wrong, and what you should or shouldn't do in the world, in this topic here, sex. Okay, there's a position, a role here. Okay, a pole. That's the word I'm looking for. A magnetic pole. And you want to step one. Your step one solution here is, which really is not a step one, is giving up. Okay, she never initiates. He says, if things are going a certain way, she will initiate in a sense. But here's what I want to say about initiation. Like I wonder what type of guy this is for a moment. Like, I wonder if this is because some guys, I guess, maybe can't tell. Can't tell certain things. It's signals for those paying attention. Sometimes there's clear to land signals without her initiating anything. You got the wrong idea here. Okay. Maybe he's not getting the signals. Maybe the signals dried up years ago, huh? Maybe the signals dried up years ago, and now he's reduced to having to beg, essentially. When we do have sex, it's only because I asked, and there is nothing sexy about it. Can I say something? Why can I say something? Look, I don't know if I'm just up on a high horse or something here, but why would you ever want that kind of stuff if there's nothing sexy about it? I'm sorry. That'd be too embarrassing. That'd be too embarrassing. It'd be too like, okay, thank you for making that clear. I'm not going to do something that I know where I'm not wanted. Okay. I know where I'm not wanted. I don't want to be somewhere I'm not wanted. Okay. So can I just say that? Like, why would you ever want that any other way? Okay, but we're talking about married people here, and they're wondering why is this happening? Why is this happening? And he says, my partner is like my roommate. He describes his partner like that phrase seems to make sense to him. It makes sense of the feelings he's feeling about his partner. Can we say you're already using the word partner, my friend? That's already not a good look. Already not a good look. If you know anything about this world of emotions and sex and passion, and yeah, it's like you said, it sounds like he knows very well. He says there's nothing sexy about it. There's nothing sexy about the word partner. Let me say that is what I'm trying to say. All right, Reddit. All right, Tyler. Tyler, are you listening? Okay, signals. We did that. What if the signals dry out? Okay. Think about this, though. Think about this for a moment. On this roommate thing. Here's the thing about men. For men, that is the only difference. Emotionally speaking, that is the only difference between your girlfriend, wife, and a roommate, and your best friend, and Joel. That's the only difference is that stuff. Because otherwise, you wouldn't go and do the chivalry and the coffees and you'd be like having coffee with your buddy, which you might do every now and again, but it's like you wouldn't go do something you don't want. It's like you might go hang out with your buddy, but have a coffee. It's like, when do we have coffees, man? We don't have. When do we do that? Why am I subjecting myself to this? Not like we're having sex. You know what I'm saying? That, for men, is emotionally the only difference. They have a shallow thinking and understanding of their relationships and love and lives. So, women can kind of see that sometimes, maybe. So where am I? So if it wasn't for the sex, it would be a roommate. So admit it, man. This Redditor and maybe others. Sex is important to you. Maybe a little too important. I'll let you figure that one out. So he says, I absolutely understand sex is not the end all be all. Okay, we are extremely compatible. Oh yeah. Every 6 months, he says, they've been having this conversation. She has expressed before that sex doesn't hold the same value, okay? And he's had a discussion with her, it seems every 6 months, where I admit that I am sexually frustrated and want to talk about this in a completely neutral environment, he says. First, nothing sexy about that. Let me say that. First of all. We have had this discussion where she cries, okay? See, this is a mess. See, this is how a woman gets her way, her will. You can't just tears like that in a fight, tears is not something to feel bad about. It's not something to take seriously, really. The tears are the way the woman gets her will. Okay? So it sounds like a mess. It sounds like a mess. You should call me, Tyler. You should definitely call me. Sounds like a total mess. And you're just barking up the wrong. You're playing a losing game. There is no at this point you do have to give up on sex with your wife. Okay? You should give up. So to Tyler, who's asking Reddit, here's the twist. Reddit, he's asking Reddit, what should I do? You got to give up on sex, Tyler, with your wife. It's time to give up on that stuff. Time to see why you care about it so much. That's just a little piece of unsolicited advice because it's controlling you. It's totally controlling you. And I don't know her, but she's crying she's crying when you ask about it, which is like, what's the big deal? It's a fair question. Like, can we at least talk about it? Like, what's going on here, baby? Let's talk about it. And she's crying about it. It sounds like she's controlling you with this, man. And people aren't ready for just how evil women can be when they don't like you in a marriage, in a relationship. Just how evil they could be. I've been wanting to do this thing on A.D.I.D.A.S. Maybe we could do a Friday because there's a really good, some evidence to what I'm saying. But so sex in marriage, sex is blinding to your issues. Sex is blinding to the issues you have between each other. And here's what I mean by that. Sex is like alcohol. It kind of smooths things over. But what exactly it's smoothing over, it's not a problem between two people. You see, that can't even be real. I still, in my years of life, I've yet to find a problem between two people. Unless it's like a real thing. You know, there's issues that people have. They get married, they have a home. It's like now she wants to leave or he's unhappy here. And those are things you can write down, a problem that we can write down on a piece of paper and be like, this is an issue that needs to be dealt with. But everything other than that, when you think about, we have issues, we're working on our relationship, we're working on issues. These issues between two people don't exist. I've yet to find it. Where is this space? Where is this dimension between two people where a relationship can go wrong? Issues. When we're talking about what sex smooths over, it's your own internal stuff. And it won't come out when you're all drunk on sex. So you got to watch that. That's something to pay attention to. It's something to think about here. Blinding to issues between two people, which don't exist between two people. It's just you unable to handle your own stuff and that other party doing the same, and that coming out in the theater of a relationship, whatever, which are what? Conversations, etc. That's the medium. So sex and marriage is blinding. You get it in all cases, really. That's not to mean don't have it. So we come back to the issue of a marriage, though. What's a man to do? What's a woman to do? Why is she rejecting me, Nick? Does she just not like me anymore? I mean, it could be a number of things. It comes down to the individual because look, you can't know someone's heart. Let me finish this by saying this here. Let me put it like this, I guess. Because it's not about blame. It's not about blame. It's about ego. You see, a Christian woman that wants to overcome. Let's say, here's an example for you. Let's say you got a Christian woman, she wants to overcome. She heard Jesse, she heard the Bond Network. She wants to get over the ego. But she's like, I keep getting sucked into sex by my husband, and he just keeps wanting to bring me into hell. But then she turns around and still gets mad. Or still gets mad in life. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, right. You're on an ego trip. You know what would be more helpful? How about say what you're hiding, which could be anything, like you're actually not attracted to this man anymore because of his weakness. His weakness turns you off. It's ladies more often than not will feel like that's too mean or something. But that would be a little bit more helpful than than some of the stuff I've heard, you know. And this is what I mean about you can't know the heart. You can't know someone's heart. It's important to know this because you see, if ladies, some of you listening to me in my chat here right now, if you wanted to, many of you listening right now could spin your man around. If you don't have one, if you get one, or maybe you do have one, you could keep your man around your finger forever, your whole life. You would know, you could say, I'm working on myself. You could say, oh, it's his fault. He keeps bringing me into hell because he wants to have sex. Or you could say a number of things. And he would never know. Your church would never know. Nobody would know that internally you're just kind of playing a game. So to the men, that's why it can't be about her. You gotta, the sex was what she was all into, and you were young and you had the babies already. And here's the thing about attraction and desire. Can I say something about this? Because some of the comments here on this Reddit post, here's one, for example. Help me. Here's Ryan. He says, help, quoting this Redditor, help, my wife won't initiate sex with me. Bro, she's lying to you when she says sex isn't that important to her. She's not attracted to you and is being nice about it so as not to hurt your feelings. Nothing nice about that, and not hurting someone's feelings is evil. Bro, she's lying to you. But maybe it wasn't so much this comment that I cared about. This one here. This guy, he says, genuine desire can never be negotiated, says Proctor A. Pack your bags. He's telling the Redditor it's time to move on from this woman. You can't make her desire you. She's telling you she doesn't desire you, so it's time to pack your bags. But you know, genuine desire, this is a totally internal thing, and something that people don't quite understand. You got, you know, it's this internal love. You'll hear me say, love yourself, but don't get all intellectual about it because you heard someone else say that's wrong. In this scenario, you got to understand what I mean. This love in yourself, it comes out of you. It's pure love, fountain of love. Why? Because you got nothing holding you back. You're not thinking of yourself any certain way. You're not bogged down by any mess. And people see that in you. It's infectious, okay? People can't help but love people like that. They can't help but love even people who are disagree with Jesse, for example. I'm thinking of Jesse right now. You could probably think of other examples in your life. You can't help but love people like that who are just unshakable. They're just an immovable object. They're how do you put it? They're a fountain of love. They got a great attitude. They always show up. She will give you sex freely when you're in your element, in a sense, okay? But don't let that be the end all be all, because it can become control and all that. You see, you can't figure out her heart. We're individuals. So you can't know if she's coming at it with a true attraction for you, or if she's just obeying, or it's some idea in her head. Like, so you also can't, that's why you also can't go around telling, thinking she owes you something. Like, wake up. Like, why would you want it any other way? You know, why would you want it any other way? You know, it's like, I guess I could stop there. Maybe we should do an exclusive. There's so much to say about so much to say in a sense. It's just too graphic. The sun is up. Yeah, you're just not gonna know, okay? And let's say you're not gonna know, right? But if you really wanted it to be that way, the only chance you have is to be a freaking man about it. So stop freaking thinking about it. Stop freaking thinking about it. You understand? You'll just be a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're like, oh, but what if I need to be this? Oh, if this is not attractive if I do this. It'll just come off of you. All this self-judgment will come off of you, and you'll just live that. You'll live that reality, this self-fulfilling prophecy. And then you'll live that reality thinking, this is just reality. This is how women are. This is just how women are. These are my top 5. These are my top 5 reasons why I'm messing around with you, Leo. But you start coming up with certain things, thinking about how women are. But that's not. Women are just dealing with the ego, and the ego's out of control because men are weak. You see, it's a whole story. So it's not about blame or getting mad at them. Your only chance at true desire and attraction is an internal thing. It's a totally internal thing. It's what you put out. So stop worrying about if others have it for you, and they'll never have it for you if you keep worrying. It's just how it works. It's an amazing paradox here. So, okay, genuine desire. Okay, sex. You get it. Did I say what I got to say? 888-775-3773. Easy, Nick. Keep it clean. Oops. Let's see. What else? Cope? What cope? What cope? What am I wrong here? 888-775-3773. What else? What else? That's it on that, you know. That's all I had to say about that, I think. Riz, you don't need Riz. What the heck? You know what game is? Game is real. Game is absolutely real. But game is not, and game is understanding the mechanical nature of the female nervous system. I don't know how else to put it. It's very real because on average, people react certain ways, and you can kind of map it out, and you can, with varying degrees of success, you can play the numbers game and be pretty successful. I've seen it in action, you know. If you and why does that work? Because the human nature is vapid and shallow. If you just look right and sound right, and you get your spiel and your shtick just right and calibrated, and you play it out on a numbers game, it works. Look, it's called game for a reason. But don't let yourself think like that's actually understanding people and human nature. Let's keep it moving. We got calls. They're all coming in now. Thank you. 888-775-3773. We got Darren out of Texas on the air. How you doing?
All is well.
Thank you, Darren. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make a comment about what I noticed about women. That's my nephew in the back, if you can hear him. I apologize.
You said what about? Are you on speaker?
No, I'm not.
I just turned you up. You're coming in clear now. Thank you.
Okay. I've called you before talking about how I kind of had issues with the women that I was dealing with, because every time I got comfortable around them, it would just turn into sex. I remember your advice, and I kind of took it. And what I've noticed was that men and women, we tend to have our own different roads that we walk down. And there's no point in you trying to relate to a woman or anything of that nature if it doesn't happen naturally. You know, I still believe that men and women shouldn't be friends. That's kind of the conversation that I had with you last time. I don't know if you remember it.
I remember your calls. I think you've called me only once before. I feel like you called me maybe more. But I sort of remember. I do sort of remember this call, man. Go on. Maybe describe it a little bit more for me.
Yeah, I said the example I gave was like in the days of Jesus, and even in the days of Jesse. I spoke to he did now, but I spoke to my granddaddy, and
rest in peace.
I was, I guess he used to beat his wife, but he said it. He was like, the one thing that you can't do when it comes to you dealing with a woman is try to make her feel good, because the moment you make her feel good, she got you by your balls. That's what he said.
Whoa.
And so that's kind of why I think the way that I think about women. But I just think that, you know, they back in those days, they never really hung out with each other. They had their own thing. They was in the kitchen cooking or whatever, you know, in the field working, and the man was out doing what he had to do, you know, working, hanging out with his friends. You know, probably in the back, you know, fixing some God knows what, you know. And then when they felt like being around each other, you know, and the guy was a little drunk, you know, or whatever, he was drinking a little bit. He was like, you know, go ahead, hit that bed, baby. You know what time it is. You know, I'm feeling hot and frisky. You know.
And you're talking about like married people?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't. Keep going.
Yeah, basically, men are attracted to women physically. And when men are not attracted to women physically, men like women being around, he like the presence of them. He doesn't necessarily want to be, based off what I've seen, best friends with a woman if there is no transaction. Because there's not really much that we relate to besides sex. I feel like that's why Jesse is really adamant about men not depending on women, because nowadays women are gods because men feel as if there's nothing else outside of a woman. When you take women out of the equation, there's nothing left for a man but death, what I've noticed. Because what is he working for? He wants a lot of money so he can get a bad, chick. What is he trying to get a nice house for? He wants a nice house so he can have a wife and kids. If there's no women in the equation, what does a man have? And I feel like that's what that guy on Reddit is going through, because now he's married to hell. If he doesn't feel like there's no point of me being around you anymore, baby, like we're not having sex no more, I don't know what you think about that.
But I'm not following. I must have missed. Are you saying something that I must have missed where you said something that should happen? Are you saying men and women shouldn't talk or something?
Yeah. I'm saying that men should not be.
Oh yeah, you said don't be friends with them. I remember that.
Yeah, I don't even think we should really be friends like that, because, we should just focus on ourselves. That's basically what I'm trying to say.
So what are we to not talk to them though? I'm not understanding. Because of some parts I get, it's like, yeah, we got to work on ourselves, but someone that works on themselves could still be a friend to the world, especially someone who's working on themselves. And being a friend is a thing you do. It's like chivalry. It's a thing you do to all people all at once. So
yeah,
I don't know about this.
Seeking out friends.
Huh?
I feel like if it doesn't happen naturally, it shouldn't happen. And especially when a man trying to find.
But women are going through the same thing you're going through, right? There's a couple of differences. For example, the sex thing. Like you're saying, women aren't. Are you saying? Do you think women are not physically attracted to men? Like, what do you think is the difference there? They get all the same. They get all physically activated too, and they're like, oh, I want to have sex with him. Now the reasons may be a little different. Like, you could just the eyes work with men most of the time, right? But a man, it's just like the way you are. And sometimes, you know what I mean? And the way you are is just enough. Am I making any sense here? Am I making any sense? Like, but it's the same. It's the same function. It's the same. She still gets that flip.
I was in the same hill. That's why.
She still gets the same flip that says, "I want to have sex with that man. Put your babies in me." That's what you understand. It's the same physical kind of thing.
She said, "Put your babies in me." She don't say. She said, "Put your babies in me." She don't say, "Let me put a baby in you."
Exactly. Exactly. That's where the difference is. It's the man and the woman, the receiving and the giving. It's just the nature of it.
A man gives, right? And that's what the guy was having hell with, because she wasn't receiving what he was giving. It seemed
who's having hell?
She was like a close. Okay. What?
You said she was having hell, but who was having hell?
So in a situation with the Reddit post, the guy was saying that he was trying.
That's what I was asking.
He was tired of giving, and she wasn't necessarily giving as well. It was more so she wasn't receiving what he was giving. But women don't give; they receive. A man doesn't naturally.
And what does that mean?
Naturally, a man doesn't. A woman doesn't jump on a man. A man tends to.
That's what you think.
Because if she a horny
you're saying a woman never jumps on. Not necessarily. No, she could.
I've had women. Yes. I understand. But what I noticed
she could do it without jumping, without physically jumping. But the woman,
you have to look for the cues, right?
No, wait, what? There may be cues if you want to get down to the brass tacks, if you want to get detailed. But look, the woman, this whole men chase women, right? This whole men chase women thing is there's a think of it like this. It's more of a draw women to you type thing than a go after women type thing. It's a draw her unto you type thing.
Yeah, but I didn't say that you have to chase a woman, nor does a woman chase a man. I'm saying that it's supposed to happen naturally. You're not supposed to do anything. If you like a girl, you'll talk to her, and it'll naturally happen. You shouldn't have to try to become a friend with her, and then after that, try to see how am I going to ask her the big question of would you want to be my girlfriend? It shouldn't happen like that, you know.
And so how
I've
should
had
it happen?
one girlfriend in my entire life, huh?
So how should it happen?
And it happened naturally.
Okay.
It should happen.
Right on.
It should happen naturally. Go ahead.
Well, right on, Darren. Anything else you want to say before we move the wheels?
No.
Thank you, sir.
This
Call
was
me
a
again.
conversation.
Yeah, right on.
Yes, sir.
Call me again, sir. 888-775-3773. Yeah. Let's see here. Friends. Being friends. Okay, let's get to calls. Let's keep going. Alex, Montana. How you doing, Alex? You're on the air.
Hey, well, dude, how are you doing?
All is well. How you doing, sir?
Hey, all right. I haven't been watching the Jesse Lee Peterson show, but I assume y'all covered the female president that was elected or selected in Mexico.
Yeah, Claudia Sheinbaum or whatever.
Sheinbaum.
The Mexican
Jew.
The very Mexican lady, the totally Mexican Claudia Sheinbaum. She's a halfa, right? She's a halfa?
A halfa?
She's half. Yeah, halfa.
That's only Japanese, isn't it?
Oh, is that only a Japanese thing? A halfa?
Yeah, halfa is only Japanese.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. But what do you? What's your opinion on that, or does your family have an opinion, or?
Well, my family. I don't know if my family has an opinion. In Mexico, you mean? Look, I was saying it the other day. It's definitely. I was saying this because that day James Hake already talked about it. So I gave my take. My little point I made was that over various callers and different segments, I've described this culture, sort of, how should I call it, a machismo culture in the Hispanic countries and the South American and Latin American countries. They have this machismo way about them. And how do I describe it? They're just, at least outwardly with words or whatever, they express a tough kind of a tough approach, especially when it comes to dealing with their women. The man leads, she's to be quieter, etc. And so the ladies in these countries tend to like go along with that, at least outwardly. They're like, yeah, no, a man should be this way. I'm so cooking clean.
The order.
Right. At least they say it, but it's in my opinion, posture. I've spoke about it more at length other days. And anyway, Claudia Sheinbaum should be kind of either a proof of that, if all things are up and up. You know what I mean? I just don't know about Mexican politics, but as far as I'm concerned, right, if they voted her in, where's all this machismo? Where's all this machismo in Mexico?
Well, you know what? My friend told me that a lot of the machismo guys end up being gay.
Oh.
I don't know what
like in Latin America, like specifically, or in general?
Just in general. I'm not sure.
I'm not even surprised by that. Like it may be just like a phrase to throw out with inaccuracy, but think about what posturing is. It's people who don't have it, people who are usually very much not what they're posturing to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about Claudia Sheinbaum?
Oh, I think she was selected. I don't think it was a fair election.
Okay, so I heard about these assassinations. I heard something about this.
That's
do you know anything about that?
About.
Do you know anything about that?
Like
what do you have?
People.
Okay, and now
like 30.
it wasn't presidential candidates though. It was let me ask,
like
because there's something I don't know. Yeah, it was mayoral, kind of local stuff, but were there any like opposing presidential candidates that were assassinated?
I haven't looked into it that far.
But that's messed up, huh?
Yeah, well, is that common or is it like a huge spike this year?
That is a question. That is another one of those good questions. I might have to, out of curiosity, kind of look into this. The Claudia Sheinbaum thing is interesting to me in that this female, like, socialist who just, it's all interesting for those reasons, right? It's female. How did this happen? Like, I didn't know, are the Mexican people really just that into feminism? And because I went and visited too not too long ago, and it's not like I'm walking through some of these cities, and I'm just like, you're telling me these Mexicans care about feminism and stuff? They got other issues, but I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant.
Yeah, no, I bet not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think she probably got put in by some banking cartels.
What makes you say that?
Cartel.
Or is that just speculation? Because I like, I'd be okay with someone like mentioning that, but I'd like them to bring a little bit of kind of work, like proof, like show your work a little bit on that.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I can't pinpoint it right now on the air for you. That's why I'm calling Dad.
Yeah.
You.
Well, yeah, I haven't quite done any. It is a little interesting. Claudia Scheinbaum. It's like, what the heck is it? You know what I saw? Someone. This is just what I saw on Twitter. It was. I looked up. I was looking up. How do you say Bolshevik in Spanish? Right, Bolsheviques. And I look it up on Twitter, and people are like, "The Bolsheviks are back. The Bolsheviks are back." But,
with her talking about her.
Yeah. But then I saw that it wasn't presidential candidates who were assassinated. It was like other stuff. So it's a messed up world. It's a messed up country with the cartel. A lot of questions, I guess, right? A lot of mystery. I don't know myself. Doesn't sound like you do either, though.
No, well, your family's not from Mexico?
No, they're actually not. They're not actually Mexican. They're Colombian. Oh. They're Colombian.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's basically Mexico, right? Right on, sir.
All right. Hey, good talking to you. Do you? Quick question: do you do the silent prayer every day?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Does it start to feel like zoning out ever?
Can you describe what you mean?
Well, like directionless. Like, it is peace. It brings upon a certain peace, but like it's directionless, and it's almost like I imagine like someone in a psych ward being doped up on pills every day, just like staring at a wall or something. Like that's kind of what it's been like for me sometimes, and I wonder.
Okay,
what do you think of that?
Okay, so you're describing zoning out in this directionless manner that makes you kind of feel like a doped up mental ward patient.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Okay, and can you describe which direction you want to be going? What direction are you talking about? What do you think? What do you think you should be going? I thought you were just sitting down in your room.
Well, that's true, but the direction would be remembering that which we actually are, which is the soul, and not getting, involved in all this memory of the body and the feelings and emotions and stuff like that.
Say that again for me.
The direction would be towards
the soul. You said something about the soul.
Yeah, direction towards the soul, realizing what we actually are.
And that's what you're. That's what you're doing when you're silent praying. You want to get closer to this soul, to this who you are, I guess.
Yeah, cutting away the fat, cutting away the not self.
And what makes you? And what about this? What about your prayer is telling you that you're going either away from it or not moving closer to it?
Well, just random dumb thoughts that don't get rebutted and that linger, like. Because it's almost like if you ignore them, it kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain.
Okay. So this rebuttal, can you describe that? Where are you expecting this rebuttal to come from? To those thoughts?
My body. So
from
brain.
The same source, the mind.
The mind.
So you're waiting for some words to pop up in your mind that will be perfect, that will answer and and tell the devil to shut up, and he'll shut up because it's like these answers perfect.
No, it's just directionally rather than specifically.
And what do you mean by that?
I mean, I'm not trying to overcomplicate it. It's just that.
Okay. How about this question? What would make you believe or think would get you closer to what you're describing?
Reading old books.
So if you were what would be the sign that you're getting closer to this that you're talking about? Because it sounds like you've so far described that you get these thoughts, there's no rebuttal, there's no, you don't have quite an answer, and they just, the thoughts come back.
Right.
They seem to recur, and they're, the indicator. So yeah, go ahead. The indicator.
The indicator would be less embodiment and more freedom.
And what's go. Yeah. Keep going.
Well, you were just talking about attracting women with your stud energy versus chasing them with your beta energy. And I think it comes from that kind of freedom spirit that isn't embodied in the flesh,
So you're not embodying
the indicator would be right.
And you're hoping to pray and embody this version of yourself you want to be.
That's kind of a clusterfuck.
That's maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, aren't I?
A little bit.
Okay. I'm following you essentially here. Alex. And
yeah, Nick, I just wondered, do you have any direction, or do you straight up just?
No, no. Thank you for bringing it back. It was about silent prayer, but direction. I just didn't quite. This whole direction thing. I just want to say, I wanted to get you to describe it a bit to understand where you're coming from, and can I ask you one last thing? I guess what do you think is then keeping you from? So you're silent praying. You want to be not a version of yourself, but like free. You want to be this free. Is that fair to say? At least that you want to be this free soul that you're describing.
I want to move away from the spiritual polarity where it goes back and forth. You know what I'm saying?
Huh. Oh, you don't want it up and down. Okay.
Right.
Okay, interesting. So when you are praying, it's empty, and you feel like when you're praying, and it's like I feel like I'm zoning out like a patient. Are you feeling that up and down during the prayer?
No, my mind is.
Anyways, I understand. I wanted you to describe it because I feel like a lot of people can relate and understand. But
that's why I brought it up, bro. Because I became, I don't know, like I prayed every day for a long time, and I don't know, my life kind of turned bad in certain aspects.
What do you mean?
Oh, just drugs and sexual perversion.
Describe that.
Yeah.
So you started praying.
Well,
go ahead. You've never done that before? You just like
not before I saw Jesse. Well, I mean it wasn't the same. Like I identified and took refuge in the prayer mind, sort of, right? But it kind of made my worldly actions neglected and ignorant to myself almost, if that makes sense.
I'm going to try and make sense of it. Tell me where I'm wrong. Are you saying that somehow the prayer is your conclusion with the prayer is like a kind of do nothing attitude, and that includes doing nothing about your vices or whatever, and you kind of allowed yourself to get into something deeper in that way?
Yeah, kind of like that, and more pacifist kind of sort of attitude, and like, yeah.
You said it brought you peace. What peace is that? What peace are you just, so far I have not heard the peace it's bringing you, this prayer.
Just confidence to speak up and say things that are on point, and to ignore the idiocracy of females. I love all that. You know?
Yeah, there's no the prayers for it. I mean,
but it made me spiritually polarized in that I identified with this soul or the mind or this peace that we're talking about, and sort of started neglecting my earthly body. And
yeah, but that makes no sense.
I just
how can you be at peace? How can you be at peace and all that and neglect your earthly body? You know what I mean? Like, what part of that? Where's the logical? Like, so you can? Are you saying that because to be at peace, you have to neglect your body? Where's the connection there?
No, I'm saying that I identified with the spirit in an attitude where it's like, it doesn't matter. That's not me.
And where did that come from? Because do you think
that,
maybe it's
that
a wrong
from,
conclusion about the prayer and about life?
I think the mind lingers after death.
But okay, that's a separate look. Do you think? Sorry, you made me think about something else. Do you think? What did I just say to you before your statement?
Something that didn't make sense.
Jeez.
You were saying that you were asking me what part made me feel that way or something like that.
I forget, man. About peace. Look, about peace and all this, I'm just hearing you describe the prayer and feeling like an insane asylum person and all that. And I'm just wondering, like, that's just more, isn't that just more thinking, more thoughts? You're waiting for this rebuttal, waiting for some sort of answer, or waiting for some thoughts to go away. Maybe the wrong thinking of the prayer and all that. It's about like a consciousness about just being able to see whatever hell's going on and reacting better to that and kind of learning through that. So I can't, on waiting for a rebuttal, waiting for an answer to thoughts or to go away, all that, you don't need to wait anymore. You don't have to wait. There's no need to wait anymore. You already know thoughts are lies. You just have to work on that. Yeah, I know you mentioned you put away your physical life to seemingly identify with the spirit thing, right? The spirit thing where you're pacifist and all that. But you don't have to be a pacifist anymore on certain things in your life. You can live it now. You now know you know thoughts. You know thoughts are lies. So you know that you can do nothing, for example. And now that you know you could do nothing, you can still live your life. You don't have to just I want to have sex or I want to have drugs, and that's just I'm just gonna wait. I'm just gonna wait until that's gone or whatever, because I can do nothing. There's nothing I can do for myself, right? I'm just gonna wait and keep praying in a magical way. Like, you got to show up. You got to show up. You know what I mean? Like, put me in coach. Yeah. You got to show up, and when you show up, it gives you the chance to fail. You can't just be on the bench, on the sidelines in the bench, looking at the game, going like, you know what I mean? You got to show up and fail.
That's exactly what I'm trying to point out. Does it ever feel like that to you? Because that's where I got lost for a little bit.
But that's not an issue of the prayer. That's not an issue of the prayer. That's not an issue of just sitting there zoning out. That's an issue of thoughts, man. It's just another. It sounds like another thought that you may be just overthinking a certain aspect of life. Okay, man. And
I never had this problem in my life before I started
right,
the
because
prayer,
now,
bro.
yeah. Well, about that, saying which problem, like drugs and what you were saying.
The false identity problem.
But you see, I don't know you, man. But I don't know. I just don't. I guess it doesn't make sense to me. I don't buy that. Like, we have these things before. We have a lot of these issues, but we just don't know that. We're just not paying attention. So, you start praying and all that. I don't know if you see it this way, but there's a devil. There's a Satan who wants your soul, okay? And he operates in the mind. So it's not just a matter of, let me think of the right thing. This freaking guy wants your soul. So he's going to keep going and keep going and keep going, okay? So you understand that, right?
Yeah, it feeds off it for sure.
And so, yeah. you never had this problem before?
No, because I finally got a taste of freedom, and then, like, I don't know, I just got caught in some middle area, and I just wondered if you'd had the same experience, man, because it seems like it doesn't get talked about.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I maybe through the barrier of communication, I may not be entirely sure, but I'm relating to a lot of what you're saying, Alex, and you understand, I guess, maybe my example of showing up, like, you still got to maybe try a little bit.
Totally.
Maybe try a little bit. Maybe not just tell yourself, I can't do it, nothing of myself, I could do nothing, so I'm just a drug addict till I silent pray myself out of it. Like, don't say anything about it. Don't say anything about it. Just do your best. And now that you know what's going on a little bit about what's inside, it'll as you're showing up to the game and falling, and you'll see a little bit more. You'll see more and more.
What did you say earlier? Not being mean is weak? Or not offending people is weak?
Caring about someone's feelings and not wanting to say something to hurt them. Not wanting to say something because you don't want to hurt someone's feelings is evil. Is weak, is evil.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Is there something you want to say to me?
I really appreciate it, man. No, the silent prayers definitely helped a lot.
Yeah, man. I hope I'm just kind of speaking off the cuff here on some things here. But don't ever hesitate to call the network back. Call Jesse and all that. I hope some things made sense. Anything else you want to ask about here before we move the wheels?
Yeah, what you reading right now? You got any books, novels you're reading?
A slow reader, and I'm still finishing up. I'm cracking into. Well, first, I'm finishing up Unnecessary War. The last little bits, I put it down for a bit. Patrick Buchanan. I put it down for a bit, but I'm finishing up Unnecessary War, and I'm gonna crack into Patriarcha, which is a book by Robert Filmer. It's supposedly John Locke. They say he's the father of liberalism. No. Well, Robert Filmer.
Liberalism.
Yeah, John Locke. Apparently so-called father of liberalism. Robert Filmer wrote a book, Patriarcha, and it's his answer to the liberals who didn't like the monarchy and thought man should be free. Well, didn't Eve want liberty as well? So he has an answer to that. He's like a monarchist. Robert Filmer. This is like hundreds of years ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, Patriarcha, and its connection to how the family unit and the father leading is how kings used to lead, and etc. Stuff like that.
That's cool. That sounds like a good book. John Locke born the idea that we are born on a blank slate, right?
Oh, did he?
I think that's where that comes from, John Locke.
I didn't know that. That's an interesting statement. What do you think about that?
Well, I don't think it's true. I think that we're an accumulation of our ancestors' experiences, and certain races have certain ideas and some don't. And,
but what about when you're born?
I don't think we're all. When you're born?
Yeah. Like right. Let's get granular here. Let's go minute one. Let's go minute one with this. Is your statement still true?
Blank slate. Yeah, I think I think my statement is still
freshly
true.
born. Yeah, interesting. Man, can you call me again on this? I want to go in on it, but no, I don't have the time for that today.
Yeah, I'll let it tumble around, man. Good talking with you.
Thank you, sir. Call me again. Alex Montana, appreciate that. Folks, yeah. What else here? That's the show, folks. That's the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Did I ever get to the coffee here? I never got to the Carver's coffee. You can buy me a coffee.com/anchorbaby. Carver with the coffee. In fact, a number of coffees. Let's read them all. Starting with Carver, he says, "Hey, Nick, I heard a conspiracy theory on one of your competitors' show, and it sounded right up your alley, so let me know your thoughts on this. The lottery is a trap for time travelers." Okay, breaking it down for us, Carver. Basically, when they go back in time, the obvious thing to do is play the lottery and win big, but then get captured by the feds / time police, etc. when they go to collect their jackpot. Occasionally, a non-time traveler wins, but I assume there's a pretty intense interrogation to make sure they're not one. Sounds pretty reasonable to me. I mean, Carver, as far as I'm concerned, I can't think of any reason why that's not a reasonable conclusion in the realm of possibilities. Okay? This is the lottery trap. The lottery trap. You're hearing about, this or that lottery winner, this or that lottery winner. You don't know the inner workings, what's going on behind the scenes. It's actually a classic. When any old person in the future, you see, because as technology gets better, any old person your average person with AI starts figuring out time travel. It gets crazy in the future, right? So when any old Farmer Joe down the street uses AI to figure out time travel, and he gets the bright idea, I'm going to make it big. I'm going back and winning the lottery because I know the numbers. That's when they get the interrogation. We got some coffees from The Key. Thank you, The Key. Says, the wife is probably fat, which makes her feel unattractive, and that's why she avoids sex. Yeah, you can't know. See, these things, the heart is wicked. You can't know the heart. It could be for many different reasons. We need more information. We need the person to call in. We need more information here, okay? We need more information. Or the husband is overweight. Someone is fat in the situation. Someone's fat in the situation. That's the obvious fact, according to The Key. Can we get a little self-reflection here? Boulevard with 3 coffee says, you go, girl. Wait, who's the girl? Thank you, Boulevard. The Key with the coffee says, physically fit people have an increased libido. No negotiating necessary. Get fit. Hashtag get fit, get laid. It's a word to the married. Word to the married, says The Key. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, but, the attraction, like a fat, hairy bear of a guy can still be, in his element, unbothered, is gonna be in all other factors ignored and considered here, is gonna be getting it freely from his wife, even if he's not I don't know, some chiseled guy. I don't know what to tell you, unclear. Too gross, maybe? I should have been checking with the chat. Has this episode been not sun friendly, not daytime friendly? Anyways, folks, that's the show. Catch me tomorrow. I'm coming back at 12 noon Pacific time for Thursday. Don't miss the shows on the network. Take care, folks. I'm out. See you tomorrow. Bye.